Hey everyone, this is 1L Phil, and today I'm just going to take you on a little tour of this kind of hidden arcade in Niagara Falls, Ontario. So there's this arcade in the basement of the Skylon Tower, which is basically an observation deck for the Niagara Falls. So this arcade has been around since the 90s, and basically it's pretty much unchanged since around 1999 or 2000, aside from a few games missing here or there. Now this arcade is pretty much unmaintained. I mean, there's like one employee walking around, but that's about it. Right in the front here we have Title Match by Sega, which is basically Sega's attempt at Punch-Out. And we've also got some other stuff like Jurassic Park: The Lost World, and then House of the Dead right next to it. Now House of the Dead 2 says out of order right on the machine, but it looks fine on the inside. Who knows what's wrong with it though. As you can tell, nothing is updated in this arcade, so it's kind of like a historical piece, like it's been left over in time. And right here there's Super GT by Sega. It's kind of like Daytona, it's a really fast, fun racing game. And here's where the real good stuff is. And this is Crazy Taxi, and then right here we have a full motion cabinet of Space Harrier. Now there's not a lot of these left in the world right now, it's probably only a handful I bet. And this one works surprisingly well, and the motion still works just fine. Sometimes the control is locked up, that it wasn't very often. And then right here we have Afterburner, which is just an insane cabinet to look at. Fun fact about this cabinet is that it can actually be seen in the film Terminator 2. Now I tried playing this one, but unfortunately the motion doesn't work anymore. Now the game still works just fine, but it's just kind of unfortunate. The game also, I didn't find it too fun because you only get about 15 seconds of gameplay before you have to put more tokens in. Now what's unfortunate about this arcade is a lot of the machines are just not repaired, and they're in various states of disrepair. But not this one here. This is one of the rarest arcade cabinets of all time, Galaxy Force 2, which is just an updated version of the first one. It was released in 1988 by Sega, and it's a full motion cabinet, so it moves left, right, up and down. And you can see a little gameplay here. This machine seemed to work perfect, so I'm going to assume they put all their work into this one, but don't really care about the others, unfortunately. But that being said, I'm glad they do repair this, because there's only about 3 working ones left in the wild. And it was really fun too. Sure, it does take up a lot of tokens, but it gives you a decent playtime out of them. The colors are really vibrant on the screen, and it's just really fun to play. Sega was really at their peak at this time in the arcade business, that's for sure. It's just kinda unbelievable that it still works this good today. Now moving along from this one, we've just got some basic machines over here like Miss Pac-Man and Galga. Nothing really to report home about, and then there's just some more redemption stuff. But as we head over here, there's a lot more arcade machines. This is mostly stuff from the 90s and a few stuff from the 80s here and there. There's this 18-wheeler game right here. It's basically Daytona with a truck. And then Point Blank 2 by Namco, which is actually on the original PlayStation. Fortunately, it doesn't work. Over here, there's just some random amusement rides. And then we've got a really cool one here, Super Monaco GP, which is an air drive cabinet, which basically is motion again. Unfortunately, as you can tell, it doesn't work, and I'm not sure if they're ever going to repair it. Apparently it hasn't worked for a while. Now there's just a Ferris wheel or whatever, nothing too crazy. And then right here you just see G-Lock by Sega. This is another motion cabinet, but unfortunately the screen isn't on. Now I saw a video of this working not too long ago, and they said that they replaced the screen, so I have a feeling that a switch just isn't flicked on the inside. Now here's Top Skater, which was a really fun skateboarding game, and then you've got some other bike games over here and some other cool Sega stuff. Well, pretty much this entire arcade is actually by Sega. Here you've got Bass Fishing, which is also on the Dreamcast. I was really surprised when I saw this. I've definitely never seen this one in person. And, you know, playing this afterwards made me go and pick up the Dreamcast version, because I really wanted to own it. There's Jumbo Safari right there, and then Desert Tank, which apparently was repaired a few years ago, and it's one of the only working cabinets in the wild. Now there was a big group of people there, so I didn't show some stuff on the other side, but it was mostly just another NASCAR game and something like that. This whole aisle is just really cool and has some great Sega games. Now over here you've got Daytona USA, because it's not an arcade if you don't have Daytona. And this one has some full-size cars here that you can kind of sit in. They don't move, it's just for aesthetic purposes. but it's still cool nonetheless, and you don't see that every day. Now in the corner there we have Tokyo Wars, which one of the screens kind of looks like it had drift. It was just endlessly repeating itself. That's unfortunate, but I didn't try that game out actually. Here is some soccer game, and then we've got Space Invaders and Egg Venture, which was a very weird looking game to say the least. I didn't happen to try that one out, so no big deal. In the corner we've got some classic arcade machines, WrestleFest, which the sound was on but the screen didn't work, NBA Jam, and then The Simpsons right next to it, which the cabinet's seen better days, but it played just fine and it was really fun actually. From photos I saw just a few months back, this arcade was supposed to have a hang-on motorcycle by Sega. You know, as a Shenmue fan, I really wanted a photo on it, but unfortunately it wasn't there. And I'm kind of worried that it wasn't there because this arcade does not seem to repair anything. And if it broke, who knows what they're going to do to it, if they're just going to throw it out or whatever. Because there's probably only a handful of those left in the world as well, just like the Space Harrier and Afterburner cabinets. Hopefully it'll come back in the future, but we'll see. Anyways, that's it for the Skylon arcade. It's pretty cool and it's definitely interesting to see how nothing here has changed since at least 98 or 99. It's got some really great Sega games, and I'd recommend you guys check it out. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next upload, and this is 1L Phil, and I'll see you later.